You're watching First News at 5. Your news and weather headlines start right now.
Good afternoon, I'm Molly Martinez. Our top story tonight, a homecoming event leads to an apology by Linton Superintendent and Linton HMB head football coach Paul Keeney to the Oaks School District and its football team. The apology comes after this video was posted on social media. It appears to show a student from Linton High School burning an effigy of an Oaks player. It has number 55 on it, which is the same number worn by this player on the Oaks Tornadoes team. We spoke to Keeney about the video. He says the t-shirt had 2 numbers on it and they weren't meant to depict anyone. Keeney says he sent letters to the Oaks School District and the player wearing number 55 apologizing for the incident. Keeney says he received a letter back from Oaks saying the apology was accepted. We have asked Keeney for a copy of the letters and we are waiting to receive them. A fire rips through Williston, an apartment complex, early this morning, and fire crews say winds played a huge factor in its rapid spread. 35 firefighters in total from all 3 stations of the city were on the scene. There are no confirmed injuries of residents. Fire Chief Jason Cantrom says making sure the fire didn't spread to other apartment buildings was their main concern. The cause of the fire is under investigation. All right, let's take a quick check on weather right now. Kevin, this was a gorgeous day.
It really was, Molly. Coming up a little bit later on.
All right, thanks, Kevin.
Yeah.
North Dakota state income tax is one of the lowest in the country, but legislators are listening to a proposal to do away with it entirely. Andrew Horn joins us with more on what the Taxation Committee is thinking. Andrew?
Molly, one legislator told me it makes for a nice headline, but not necessarily good policy. But other legislators couldn't deny the fact that the state has workforce needs and eliminating the income tax could help. The American Legislative Exchange Council, or ALEC, presented an annual study ranking North Dakota 4th in economic outlook. And their study also shows states with without income tax grew the population more than 2.5 times states with the tax.
I think that it would encourage workforce to locate in the West because that's where you have a lot of entrepreneurship, a lot of small companies start in the oil and gas industry.
My first session here, there was a bill to eliminate the income tax and it failed. So I don't expect it to go anywhere, and I think that's a good thing.
Even if North Dakota does eliminate the tax, how could the state recoup that money? You can find out on the evening report.
All right, thanks, Andrew. The coalition of the Greater North Dakota Chamber of Law Enforcement are working against Measure 3, which would legalize recreational marijuana. Eric Spencer, the GNDC president, says in Colorado, businesses saw failed drug tests double after legislation, which he says North Dakota can't afford. Former Attorney General Bob Wiefelt has a different reason.
My son was killed a little over 5 years ago in an accident in Kings Canyon National Park that involves a lot of alcohol and a lot of drugs and marijuana. So I find this very personal. I really do.
If voters approve Measure 3, it would go into effect after 30 days. In about 2 hours, Prairie Public and AARP will host a debate between North Dakota Public Service Commission candidates Jeannie Brandt and Randy Chrisman. It's part of an ongoing series of debates leading up to November. The next one will be between Mac Schneider and Kelly Armstrong on September 11th. On the 12th, the Secretary of State hopefuls will square off, and on October 5th, it's the main event. Kevin Kramer and Heidi Heitkamp will take the podium. Meantime, tomorrow President Trump is wheels down in Fargo. He's coming for a private fundraising event. We'll have live coverage of his visit right here on KFYR. He's expected to land around 11 and deliver remarks around noon. Well, it has been a year since the power shift at the Bismarck Police Department was created to help put more boots on the ground during peak hours. And in the first 8 months alone, the department says they've had more than 8,000 traffic stops, 1,400 adult arrests, and nearly 700 drug violation arrests because of the new shift.
It's a very noticeable impact from the first day that we kind of launched this. Obviously, the first few months we were busy, we were very busy, and we still continue to be busy. But it's definitely a noticeable trend that we've noticed even out on the roads. We're very proactive when it comes to traffic stops.
Deputy Chief Randy Ziegler says the department is looking to add 4 more officers to get their initial goal of 16 during the power shift. Well, September is National Preparedness Month, and this month's theme is Disasters Happen, Prepare Now, Know How. The North Dakota Department of Health is asking people to create an individual family emergency plan of their own. If you need help on your emergency plan, you can visit ready.gov/make-a-plan or follow the North Dakota Department of Health Emergency Preparedness and Response section on Facebook. Well, starting in October, the State Department of Human Services will implement 2 additional federal requirements for criminal background checks for child care providers. The changes are part of the Federal Child Care and Development Block Grant Act of 2014. The first change requires all child care staff to complete a fingerprint-based background check. The second requirement says new staff members cannot begin to work until the State Department of Human Services reviews their criminal history records. Speaking of kids, something as simple as a cold sore can cause serious medical issues for young children. This is exactly what happened to 2.5-year-old Travis Falcon, who had a stroke caused by a cold sore on his brain. He lost almost all functionality on the left side of his body, but after spending months in the hospital, Travis is battling back.
He's using his right leg better, standing better with that. He's sitting better. We were working on some tracking things, so he's starting to track a little bit better to his left-hand side.
If you'd like to help out with Travis's cause, you can visit his GoFundMe page by visiting the story on our website. Police are searching for a $15,000 hot tub. Bismarck police say the hot tub was stolen around 1 yesterday afternoon from Hot Springs Spa on the 2400 block of Vermont Avenue. Police say the hot tub weighs about 1,000 pounds. They have no suspects at this time and are waiting for security video from the area. Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh faces his final round of questioning by the Senate Judiciary Committee. This follows a marathon session Wednesday that lasted well into the night. NBC's Susan McGinnis has the latest on what we can expect.
On the final day of grilling of Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, Senate Democrats forced the release of a few confidential documents that could offer clues to his positions on critical issues.
Emails are being withheld from the public, have nothing to do with national security.
New Jersey Democrat Cory Booker released an email regarding racial profiling over GOP objections.
No senator deserves to sit on this committee or serve in the Senate, in my view, if they decide to be a law unto themselves.
And bring the charges.
Mr. Chairman.
Kavanaugh was also grilled about a 2003 email obtained by NBC News where he appeared to question whether landmark abortion ruling Roe v. Wade was settled law or could be overturned.
So you believe it's correctly settled, but is it correct law?
You can't give a thumbs up or thumbs down and maintain the independence of the judiciary.
When asked about executive power, Kavanaugh said it is a long-standing Justice Department position that a sitting president cannot be indicted while in office, but said he has not taken a position on the constitutionality of that. Susan McGinnis, NBC News, Washington.
Some sad news out of Hollywood this afternoon. Actor Burt Reynolds has died. Passed away today at the age of 82. He starred in such movies as Smokey and the Bandit and Deliverance. From 1978 to 1982, he was the #1 box office attraction in the world. Reynolds' agent tells NBC News the actor passed away this morning of cardiac arrest. No funeral plans have been announced. 9 people are dead in a powerful quake that shook Japan's North Isle, Hokkaido, early this morning. The Prime Minister says the fate of many others is unknown at the hardest hit area. He says a large number of homes collapsed or were hit by these landslides. About 21,000 police, firefighters, and self-defense force members are involved in the search and rescue effort. The quake clocked in at the highest level, 7 on Japan's seismic activity scale. In Spain, heavy flooding brought traffic to a standstill in Barcelona after a quick-moving thunderstorm rolled through the city. Roads turned into rivers in the torrential downpours. Many train stations had to be closed due to flooding as well. The Spanish State Meteorological Agency, AMHET, declared a yellow and orange alert in the region. Back stateside, Minnesota is facing flooding of its own. Even though rain has stopped, the area is still completely waterlogged. At the Zumbro River, residents are keeping a watchful eye as waters roar over the top of a dam, pushing the riverbanks below. The National Weather Service predicts several spots along the river will reach minor flood stage. That includes the city's watershed treatment plant. And from floods to fire, some pretty incredible footage coming out of Northern California. The Delta fire is now burning across 2,000 acres and is 0% contained. There are currently 600 fire personnel on the scene battling the blaze, which started around 1:30 this afternoon near Lakehead. Evacuations have been issued for the fire on both sides of Interstate 5 and north of Lakehead and Shasta County lines. An historic inn in North Carolina is burning to the ground. Massive flames and smoke are pouring from Melrose Inn as firefighters try to get the blaze under control. According to the inn's website, it was built in 1889 in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Officials say the fire may have been caused by an electrical issue. The inn appears to be a total loss. They are expecting as many as 500,000 visitors next week for the FI World Equestrian Games. All right, floods and fires, but Kevin, we owe you a thank you for today.
Yeah, right?
The World Surf League says for the first time, all pro women surfers will get paid the same as men when it comes to prize money for all WSL events starting in 2019. The announcement comes from CEO Sophie Goldschmidt. Equal pay has been a hot topic in recent years, and some of the pro women surfers say it's the first big wave into the future for all female athletes. Well, we can't hang 10, but we are hanging in the 80s.
We certainly are. Good segue there, Molly. That's right. Look at this, 81 degrees right now in Bismarck. But do we want to go Devil's Lake? No. It's 59 degrees. Man, a little chilly there, right? Because of the rains and thunderstorms and even reports of a few areas of hail, like in the Wolford area, Pierce County, a couple reports of that, Rugby as well. But 70 degrees in Grand Forks right now. But on the other side of this front, it is much warmer. It is 88 now in Dickinson and in Hettinger. So the forecast for tomorrow to wrap up this work week. Look for temperatures coolest across the north with east winds, 77 in Minot, but middle 80s for Bismarck and 87 in Hettinger. Summer hangs on, as mentioned.
All right, time now to find out what's coming up on the Evening Report.
Well, Molly, shots fired at Sanford Hospital in Aberdeen, South Dakota. We'll tell you more about that. Tomorrow's big presidential fundraiser in Fargo has already raked in a lot of money. We'll tell you how much more it's put in Kevin Kramer's campaign fund. And we'll have the latest pheasant count in North Dakota. Those stories plus sports and the forecast coming up on the Evening Report.
Thanks, Alan, and thanks for joining us. We will see you at 6.